Hello, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman, bringing you organized chaos. Now, you've heard of episodes of My Little Pony that tell you to do your best and never quit, especially when it comes to friendship. But an episode dedicated to telling you to take it easier? Well, that's what we're getting in this episode. So, without further ado, here's the newest My Little Pony. Until next week. Well, the episode begins with Fluttershy and Zecora. Wait, Zecora? Hold the phone. Didn't we just have a Zecora episode?
Oh, yeah, but they're using her again for this one.
Oh, she's really making miles this season. Good for her. Well, Fluttershy and Zecora are getting a special kind of moss for Fluttershy's Animal Reserve. Continuity at its finest. When Zecora accidentally falls into the water. Well, I can think of more than one way to get a pony wet now.
You can never unhear that joke! You can never unhear that joke!
Well, Zecora's hit by a strange blue and orange flower and comes down with a case of, well, a sickness. And when it doesn't look like she's getting any better, they decide to take her to an actual licensed professional.
You have a very rare disease called swamp fever.
Really? Swamp fever? That's what you're going with? Well, alright. Well, what's the ultimate conclusion, Doc? What's going to happen to our favorite zebra?
Except, of course, its symptoms. Change of coat, coughing bubbles, sharp sneezing, confusion, and the last stage, the afflicted turn into the very trees that drop the disease-spreading flower.
Wait, you turn into a tree at the very end? Well, Fluttershy, what are you waiting for? This is your chance!
Become what you have always meant to be.
Well, since they can't exactly show death on a kid's show, they say that there's no cure for the disease, and at the end of it, she'll turn into a tree. But Fluttershy refuses to give up and says there must be a cure. And it turns out there might be one, by an ancient pony that knew how to work miracles with medicine. So Fluttershy does the only natural thing, go to Twilight. Me personally, I think they should have just stopped by Twilight's house first. Between you and me, that doctor looks kind of shady. You know? Just sort of not right. Well, both Fluttershy and Twilight go to work trying to find a cure for swamp fever. And while Fluttershy is definitely in a panic, Twilight is surprisingly lax about one of her good friends potentially going to die. Well, there's a difference between not letting your emotions get the better of you and just simply not giving a fuck. And Twilight's kind of on the border on that. What's wrong with you? Your friend's going to die! Okay, not die, but turn into a tree! But seriously, Fluttershy, get on that! Well, Fluttershy eventually discovers a lead on a way to cure Zecora through the ancient writings of a pony known as Mage Meadowbrook, or Mage Meadowbrook, or... Okay, I don't know how to pronounce her name, so let's just call her Magical Mystery or... You know what, fuck it, we're just calling her the Masked Pony. Plague Doctor. Yeah, that's a go. We're going with Plague Doctor. So, with their lead in tow, they take a visit to Zecora. Even though Zecora should be in a hospital room, she decides to go back to her hut and rest. And they see the disease is getting worse. So they take their lead and go straight to a swamp. Yeah, just a swamp town. Well, where do you expect magical mystery cures to come from? Certainly it isn't going to be Ponytropolis. Well, they did manage to find the Plague Doctor's house, and Fluttershy is clearly showing signs of fatigue, as she's losing common sense to raw emotion. I mean, she can't even open a door right anymore. But to be fair, that's a doorknob, not just a push or pull thing, so she has no fingers or hands. She couldn't open it regardless. So as they get in, I'm seeing more and more that the name Plague Doctor definitely fits this pony's itinerary when they meet a kindly old man by the name of Cattail. who proceeds to help them out and tells them a history of their plague doctor, of which they're searching for. And the more and more I see it, I think we should just nickname this pony Plague Doctor. I mean, they have beak-shaped masks and everything. Well, their search was not in vain, as they discovered there is a cure for swamp fever in the form of this certain type of bee's honey, who are immune to the effects of the flower. Unfortunately, it didn't read how to get the bee's honey. Not even Fluttershy's stare seemed to have worked. And if Fluttershy's stare can't subdue an animal, I don't know what can. Just FYI, never challenge Fluttershy to a staring contest. It'll blow your frickin' mind. Or so I've been told. Well, things are getting worse as it turns out Fluttershy has caught the disease, and her fatigue is making it spread even faster. So they're running out of time and options to get the bee's honey. But they managed to discover the secret way of getting the honey was through the very mask that Plague Doctor wore, since it had the same coloration as their queen bee. So they managed to get the honey just in the nick of time.
Please tell me you found the cure.
Fluttershy learns her lesson on needing rest, or else you're useless to everybody. Except if you rest too long, then your friend turns into a fucking tree. I did like this episode, I will admit. I guess it's sort of just me being a critic, where I have to point out all the flaws, but it's a really good episode, honestly, it is. Personally, I would not give this one a pass, and definitely look forward to how Fluttershy grows in the future, as well as Twilight. Although admittedly, Twilight's character did seem a bit off. Not worrying about Zecora is definitely out of character. Or maybe Twilight's just a racist. Who's to say? Anyway, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman, I brought you Organized Chaos, and as you excuse me, I'm going to take my own rest. I'm the Cartoon Gentleman. And I look like Dr. Seuss.